welcome back. So here we are in the downstairs where I've concocted a bunch of shop lights to grow my indoor plants. That way I can eventually, here in about a month, fill up the front yard with approximately 1,000 plants or so. Not much has been going on over the winter other than, me growing a bunch of stuff indoors. Earlier I had to trim up my garlics. There's a huge plate of garlic clippings. I guess you would call them garlic chives or something. They have such a strong pungent odor to them, it's actually giving me quite a bit of a headache to them. But as you can see from a number of these fronds bits, the ends of them were getting rather long and starting to grow into the lights, even starting to char a bit. So I figured I'd clip those off, maybe use those in a stir fry. As you can see in this convoluted mess of wiring I have here, it's pretty makeshift. This is actually a space that's in front of my crawl space here, which once I actually start to get potatoes and things of that sort next year, I'm going to end up creating the entire thing into a giant root cellar. But as you see right now, these are the chopped off bits of garlic. There's, I believe, about 18 plants in there, and I had to chop them off because they were probably up to here or so. This is my first flat that I started about a month ago. It's a flat with European mesclun lettuce mix. It has anything from mizuna, kale, chard, your green lettuces, your red lettuces, and whatnot. They seem to be doing alright, though I do believe that I need to actually transplant each individual plant finally into its own pot. That way it can actually start to get some really good root growth to it. Here on the left hand side was another flat that I had made, and I think this one's about, I'd say about a week or two earlier, or rather later than this one. And in the upper left hand corner you can see that I have broccoli. There's about, I think about 40 plants in there. And then in the upper right hand corner there's a bunch more Swiss chard, varying between the yellows, the reds. And then on the lower part over here you have post onions, and then on this side you have Stuttgart onions. Let's do a quick rundown through all the little cups that I have here. Starting in the upper right, here's a cup of broccoli. There's about about 5 plants between that one. Here's another broccoli. This one's a kale of sort. Here's a red Russian kale. Very pretty. Back here is a really good one. You can see there, it's a nice large red lettuce surrounded by 3 Swiss chards that are starting to get some of the really nice leaves on them. This one right here is another red Russian. Lettuce, another lettuce. I believe this one's mizuna. You can see it's a month old and it's doing fairly well. Over here in this cup, there's 4 plants. There is my Polish linguista tomatoes. They have their true leaves. Back here is my red Marconi peppers. There's 3 of them that's actually, oh, actually, excuse me, there's 4 of them that's sprouted. I like to put 5 seeds per cup, that way I can determine what the germination rate is. This one over here is 3 germinated swat eggplants. And from the look of it, it said I put that in there on January 27th. They take about a month before they decide to even come out. Very long time. Some of you might think I'm crazy, but these are yellow strawberries. Growing those from seeds. And they're now starting to get the true leaves on them, which is exciting. Here's a cup of Amposta onions. Here's a cup of Stuttgart onions. And these are just your standard Dixie party cups that I've put 5 holes in the bottom. They work out pretty good. Down here, which obviously needs to be thinned out a bit, but I'll wait till they get bigger. This is Emperor mustard. That I planted February 7th. Here's Swiss chard and 2 cilantros. They're butted up like that because that's how I planted them in that seed flat with the lettuce. And I haven't broken them up just yet. This right here on the plate is a bunch of sprouting spinach. That plate right there is Stuttgart onions. That same mesclun lettuce mix. And the Amposta. And I still do find it funny that we call it a mesclun mix, even though mesclun means mix. So we're just essentially saying mix. This right here is 2 Brandywine tomatoes. Here's a cup of mâche. This here with my thermometer is 2 Cherokee Eagle corns. And here's 3 more of the corn. This cup right here you have Alaskan peas. These are sugar snap peas. Brussels sprouts. Dino kale. Cabbage. Here's one I'm looking forward to. Golden beets. This one is a jalapeno.